How you doing, YouTube? How you doing today? This video going about Joe Montana questionable MVP over Randall Cunningham 1990. Now Joe Montana had been a Super Bowl champion and he was on his apex. He was nearing the end of his peak prime, but what a ride! And the way he came off after the way he had just won the Super Bowl against Cincinnati and then he had hit his apex against the Denver Broncos. But in 1990, back in the day, a year, he got an award, but Randall Cunningham happened to have a year where he threw for 3,466 yards, 35 total touchdowns, and a then record 942 rushing yards. At that time, there weren't scrambling quarterbacks of the magnitude like this. Well, Steve Young had done it, but see, for black quarterbacks, you didn't have that, and you didn't have the balance. Cunningham was like a hybrid of running and strength with his arm. He was like almost one of the first of his kind. And Warren Moon was around, but Moon didn't run like him. But I'm just putting in perspective what Randall Cunningham accomplished. So Cunningham put on a clinic at that time. Now you see running quarterbacks, they stock numbers crazy. At that time, what he was doing was an incredible feat. And he didn't have the stacked team as the 49ers because obviously he didn't have a Jerry Rice. I mean, respect, I think Urban Fryer was there, but he was no Jerry Rice. The 49ers had a better defense too with Ronnie Lott and them. No knocking the Eagles' front line, which were bad, but they weren't what the 49ers had. So the bias is obvious. And look, huge Montana fan. You ask me all-time greatest quarterbacks, him, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. Those are my top three. And you can flip them any order you want. Those are it. And you can debate who you want for four. Those are the three I'm starting with every day. I can't even think about who I want for four. But I'm going to tell you something. As great as he was, that Randall Cunningham should have got the MVP. Randall did a lot more with Philly. He really had to carry that squad. And it does make a difference when you have a stacked situation as opposed to someone who doesn't. I mean, it's really, you know, it's really something that you have to look at, you know. Um, it's one of those things that it kind of is a head scratcher because they've been so biased, and they do. They have their quarterbacks, they have their built in who they love, they have their way of just kind of who they're going to maintain as a standard. They don't even know if the way that they really believe it or not, but if you got your name called a lot of times, chances are you'll do. They're different now than they were then, though, because there was a time, you know, they strictly were going to give it to you. And they sometimes might have a token one here and there, but they tend to, it's a little bit different than it was then. And so Montana benefited from it. I guess, and he was a Super Bowl winning quarterback and they were dominant. They went to back. So, you know, at the time. But Randall Cunningham definitely deserved it. I mean, he was something worth to watch, to see. He was energetic. He was mobile, and he had been one of the few black quarterbacks at that early point who thrived. And it was a big deal. It was a big deal because it didn't happen in the 60s and the 70s. So it took from Moon, Doug Williams, Randall Cunningham in the 80s in respect to Vince Evans. But just saying, that's what how it kind of went. So it took that. But Cunningham was that dude that should have got that MVP. So anyway, let me know what you think, though. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another. Share it if you like, and hit that membership because when you do requests like this come true, stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out. Peace.